So we're back. We're back at Planet Hollywood again. If you watch my channel, you know I was here last year. I'll get right to the point. We came back. We had such a great time last year at Planet Hollywood at this very resort. We brought some family with us. And I'm here to see, A, was the experience good? Was it better? And what changes have been made? So let's just jump right into it. Planet Hollywood, Cancun, Mexico. Good or bad? Phenomenal. If you know last year's video, I had such a great time, hence the reason why we returned. And we really don't do the same resort more than once. We just like to try new ones, but this one was such a home run, and we brought some family who wanted to share the experience. So we saw, you know what, we know the campus pretty well. We could probably have a really great time. So I'm really happy to report that everything that was good last year is just as good, if not better. There have been changes though, so let's just hop into the changes real quick. I'm walking right towards a change. This was not here last year. This was just a fence, and I guess this is for like parking. But now we're out of the thick of COVID. Things are different. They added a new attraction, the Fast and Furious, so they call it the Hollywood Fast Drivers. They don't call it Fast and Furious, but it's clearly a parody of Fast and Furious. I can't get in, I don't think I'm allowed to, but there are 2 cars there. You pay money for it, which I don't have prices on just yet. But basically, it shoots you down this 8-mile track, 1/8 of a mile track, or maybe 1/16 of a mile. That's really small. But supposedly it shoots you down at like some ludicrous speed. Like it scrambles your brains a little bit. And that's supposed to be really fun. It looks it. So, let's start making our way back in. If you've never been to Planet Hollywood, you don't know the campus, you're thinking about booking a trip, check this out. I'm going to walk all around the campus. I'm going to show you where everything is. I'm going to show you the pros and cons to a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you all the great stuff. I'm going to show you the things that have changed. And there have been. There have been actually a lot of little numerous upgrades and changes and things like that. Last year when we were here, we were still kind of like in the tail end of COVID. So things were different. A lot of attractions that were touch points, meaning the arcade or the trampoline park, the way they were serving drinks, that's all changed. We're kind of, I hate to use the cliche term, we're kind of back to normal, I guess. And all those things are open. We're going to talk about masks, we're going to talk about precautions, immunization, all the not so fun topics, but it's important when you're traveling to know these things. So we're entering the main lobby. I'm going to keep my voice down because there are people here, and it's about 6:30 in the morning. But this is the main lobby. When you come in, you'll be greeted by the staff here. That is your Star Class checkout. And then, no, I'm sorry. This is Star Class checkout. This is the expedited one. And then this one back here is like a general admission check-in process. This is the registration in the lobby. So you would meet the man who's sitting behind this Mustang there, or what's left of that Mustang. So go ahead and book your time there. We're gonna let everyone come through. All right, so let's start over here real quick. As you come on in, you're checked in. You're faced with the main stage here, center stage. And every night they have different kind of parties, different events. They'll have dinners out here. They had live music the other night, which was unbelievable. Throughout the day, they might have on the stage up there, they had a boxing match, they had soccer games going on. Impossible to be bored here. I mean, there's just always something happening. You have a bar here, which is jumping at nighttime. It's so much fun. But during the morning, they use this spot to make juices. So if you want like smoothies and healthy drinks, it's a nice use of that little real estate there. You've got your steakhouse up here. You've got your Indian. You have East. You've got a sports bar. You also back there, you have the movie cinema. So all day, they're just streaming movies. And there's no tickets required. You just go in. They have popcorn. They have all sorts of sodas. You just help yourself. That's right there in the back, those lights going on. So last night, I think they had like Fast and Furious was playing. They had Spider-Man 3. Different stores here, normal for your resorts. T-shirts, sunglasses, jewelry, real, fake. And that's like this little pocket back here. And then you see tons of little tables and chairs, whatever, so you can hang out here at nighttime, grab a bunch of drinks, sit with family. I'm going to loop back onto the other side of the front part. This is the front part of the campus. As you can see, it's really early here in the morning. I guess it's around 6:30, 6:45. The sun is just coming up. I tend to be a bit of an early bird, so I figured this is a great time to come down here. Not going to be bothering anyone, disturbing anyone, and we can kind of talk in peace. This is a side of the steakhouse. Steakhouse here is phenomenal. Food here has been really good. Everyone asks about the food. No constructive criticisms about the food. I've been to resorts where food is okay. Food here is really good. I think so. We had East last night, hibachi place. Guy put on a great show. All the stuff you'd expect from like your other types of hibachi places like Adirondack or something like that. It was just as good as that. So the kids were really entertained, and it was just delicious food. All right, as we come back up around here, we're gonna start talking about things that have changed at the resort. Because of last year, the resort was at 35% capacity. Again, all because of COVID and whatnot. And when we were here just about the same time last year. I don't even think it was 35%. I mean, I know there were signs that were everywhere about that. And all the signs on the floor about being 6 feet apart from each other. But that's all gone. And now they're at full capacity. Coffee bar is still here, obviously, which is right here. It's closed at the moment. This is Fuel. And they're open for when I gather all day. And you get coffee, you get gelato, cookies, ice cream, things like that. Pumped is open. So there's 2 floors for Pumped. That's a gym. There's actually 2 gyms that I found here on the campus. This is like the general admission one for everyone. And there's 2 floors for this one. It's a pretty big gym. Last year, this was the staging area for everyone to get the COVID tests because you couldn't fly back into the country without a passing COVID test. That's all gone now. That whole thing has been taken down. So now the gym is open. Anything that was a touch point, that's all back on deck. Spa is open. Last year, I think part of the spa was open. Now everything's open. This is different. So we are Star Class. And back in the day, this was a separate entrance for Star Class residents. They've changed something here. There's no longer the case. Regardless of what admission you are, you wait online here for buffet. What they changed is up here. And it's actually pretty smart. We were speaking to someone about this. The resort has 2 different sections. There's a family part, there's an adult part. But regardless of what part you're in, you do share the same restaurants. So people were complaining, well, why am I paying for an adult experience and I'm going to be sitting at a buffet with a bunch of kids? Makes sense. It's a valid argument. So what they did was they punched a hole over here and opened this door up. And this goes into the same buffet, but this area over here is segregated to just adults. So if you are thinking about traveling here as an adult with no kids, you would eat in this area right now. And you have your own separate entrance, which is pretty convenient. Good use of space. So, we're gonna make our way down here, where all the different buildings are. And you've got all your different rooms. You can see the campus is actually spotless. I mean, for the amount of people who are out at partying every night, walking around, drinking, I mean, there's no litter anywhere. There's always staff out here manicuring the lawn, cleaning up, straightening things up, pruning trees, I mean, whatever it is. The place is just, it looks photoshopped. It's so clean and so neat, which is really nice. Hard to tell, but if you've seen over that horizon where the sun's coming up, it looks really cool. There's a maze. It's like a garden maze. And last year, the garden maze came up to my waist, I would say. And I'm tall, but still, it was still growing. When we came back, it was the first thing we noticed. The garden maze grew. Now it's actually pretty hard to go through the garden maze. Last year, you can kind of cheat and go and look over your shoulder and see where the exits were. But now you can see all the shrubbery and whatnot. It's growing. So the garden maze is a bit of a challenge now, especially for little kids, which is kind of fun. So that's a fun thing to do. When you're waiting for your reservation for the restaurant or whatever. Always things to do to entertain the kids. Back in that distance over there, again, kind of hard to see with the sun in front of us. You got a basketball court. And you got kids that play soccer and whatnot. Or Okay, over the horizon, the basketball court is Gusto. And Gusto is an indoor-outdoor Italian restaurant. Absolutely delicious. Been there a handful of times, loved it. Outdoor giant chess set, really cool. Once again, this is kind of cool stuff, like you're just killing time. And you gotta be somewhere in 15 minutes, you got the kids, you come over and you play with this stuff, it's really neat. Alright, if you are joining, if you're coming in and you're gonna be a Star Class visitor, Star Class just basically entitles you to maybe some few more perks. You'll still have a great experience, but there are certain things that are off limits to those who are not Star Class. So, case in point, that's the Star Class building right here. And in the lobby, they'll have like a private area that's always stocked with beer, wine, cheeses, sodas, water, things like that. So, you take a breather, don't feel like walking all the way down to the buffet. If you're a Star Class member, you just kind of walk into the lobby, help yourself, and someone will be there to serve you, or you can serve yourself. Lazy River, which we're going to loop back to. Lazy River, still one of my favorite lazy rivers. If you watch my other videos, love a good lazy river. Been to some great ones, been to some stinkers. This is not a stinker, that's a fun lazy river. However, we're going to get to something that we realized, and we've spoken with a couple other patrons here, and they had the same question I had, but we're going to get to that in a second. All right, over here, sections over here for outdoor weddings, or destination weddings, I should say. So I'll have this all set up in the evening if someone's getting married. Really nicely done. Here's your store, just in case you want to get floaties or you want to get sunscreen, shirts, hats, things like that. They sell that to you for an outrageous price. All right, Cabanas. So you've watched my channel. If you're thinking about coming down here and you're thinking about getting a cabana, I actually put a video up there. I'll put a link in the description. Cabana is a no-brainer. You watch the video and you see what I mean by that. But all the way back by the beach, here are the cabanas. So let's loop around. Last year, this was different. Last year, these were like a series of rocks, so you had to kind of hopscotch around, and you would hope you didn't fall and trip and break your ankle. Now they put pavers over here. So it makes kind of traversing this land way easier now. Where before it was just so unfinished, and like I'd have to hold my wife's hand as we went over this. These are the cabanas. Cabanas are great, stocked with all sorts of different juices and sodas, beer. You get this private swim out, yada yada yada. Great stuff. We're in the Star Class area, so with the Star Class, I've got the Star Class bar and another Star Class bar back there. Star Class pool. And it just kind of limits the attendance here, right? Because not everyone's a Star Class person, so you're not getting into a pool with, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of people. Maybe more limited and a little more exclusive and just kind of quiet. As we walk back, I'll show you some of the other stuff over here. The entertainment here is phenomenal, in my opinion. It's impossible to be bored. I think I mentioned that a few times. We had a foam party the other day. Foam party was crazy. I've been to Royalton, does a really good foam party. This outdid the Royalton. We had inflatable balls. Everyone's bopping the balls around. Bunch of foam. Everyone's getting crazy. You had DJs, dancers. People are going up on stage dancing with the dancers. Just a wild time. So this is by far the coolest foam party I've ever been to. A lot of questions always come in about the beach. So there's a series of bridges that separate the campus from the actual shore. So these are the bridges that come over. I'm on one right now. We come up over the bridge, and here we are. We've got the ocean with the sunset in the back. It looks really, really cool. Beaches are spotless. I know seaweed's always been on everyone's radar. Seaweed's inevitable, and I always say the same thing. I never judge a resort by the amount of seaweed that comes in. However, you look at the resort and you see how fast they clean it up. And I guess that's where they gain or lose points. They're constantly combing the beach. I mean, right now the seaweed's not out of control, but they're constantly going over with the tractors or whatever, and they're combing the beach, scrubbing it all down, constantly cleaning it. We've been to beaches where that doesn't happen, and then eventually that seaweed kind of like ferments and it blows into the resort and it smells horrible, but nothing like that here. Absolutely spotless. The new Planet Hollywood Cancun sign, those purple letters, that's new. That wasn't here last year. And they got these little teepee tents that are all set up around. That's new as well. So, same thing, more bridges. In the distance over there, you've got another buffet, a small like beachside buffet. Nothing big, but something quick to grab and sit down, grab a bite to eat if you don't feel like going back to the other side of the campus. Seats. So again, a lot of people will comment me, hey, how do I get seats? You know, do I have to wake up 5 in the morning and stick my bag or my book on top of a seat to kind of put my stake in the ground? People do it. It's a pet peeve of mine. Here, I don't think it's necessary. I suppose people do it because they want the prime seat. But there is an abundance of seats here. Last year, it wasn't like that. Not that they were short on seats, but because of the limited capacity, they didn't have, you know, like seats here and here. It was all kind of like scattered about. But now, it's not a typical resort where there's just seats everywhere. So you can see there are people who do it. They still come down here, they'll throw that hat in the seat, that's their seat for the day. I haven't seen anyone argue about any seats, I haven't seen that. I have witnessed it at other resorts. But it doesn't seem like it's a necessary thing. We got here late the other day, and as it turned out, you know, we didn't have our cabana ready yet. So we had to just grab a seat. It took us 10 seconds, we found one. And that was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you can find a seat at 3 in the afternoon, you can find a seat anytime. Main stage, so there's always live music up here or a DJ up here. Again, this is the general population pool, so public for everyone, and then you have entertainment. Lazy River. Lazy River's cool. Lazy River moves at a nice, fast pace, but it's relaxing. What I mean by that is the current will push you along. You don't have to, you know, push yourself or walk. You hop on a float, or even if you go into like a cannonball position, you're going to drift right throughout this lazy river. It's really relaxing. But one thing we noticed, what everyone else noticed, the floaties are gone. Last year, there was an abundance, like literally right where I'm standing, there would just be a mountain of flotation devices. And you would grab one, hop on it, and go in the lazy river. They're gone. I mean, if there's like 5, that's it. And we've been going around asking everyone, and no one knows where they are. I'm guessing they're somewhere, and I'm guessing you may need to sign out for them now. I don't know. But like here, there's one right there. It's a yellow one. It looks like it's deflated. But there used to be a mountain of them, and we don't see them anymore. So we have our own, and we just hop on that, and that's cool. But it's just something worth noting. I'm not sure what changed. And again, it could be I'm just looking in the wrong spot, and maybe you have to make an appointment to get one. I don't know. But I'm not upset about that. Flowrider's up and running full force. They now do it by appointment. You can't just walk over and say, I want to do Flowrider. At the Royalton, they seem to be just like first come, first serve. But I think here now that again we're all back to normal, they're now doing appointment only. Swim up cave bar, so if you're in the lazy river and get a little thirsty, you can kind of loop your way in, hit the cave. Here's some floaty devices. And again, there's a lot there, but I'm telling you, there was a mountain of them last year. Like, there were just more floaty devices than there were people. So that changed. No big deal. All the Planet Hollywood Adirondack chairs are out. And it's nice to see everyone kind of sitting in them, relaxing. Back here, going over a bridge, which we're going over the lazy river, you've got the kids area. So my nieces are with us, and they're younger. This is fun for them. This is great. There's all sorts of slides. A pirate ship is back here. Jurassic World, I think, is what their theme is over here. All sorts of water cannons, pirate props, things like that. Really neat. Burger joint. So it's a Guy Fieri style kind of burger joint. Delicious. Really nice. You need a point. You gotta wait online. Last year you just kind of walked in and did your thing. Now there's lines, which is cool. I mean, it's good because there are people here and everyone's partying and relaxing again. That's basically it. I mean, the place is wonderful. It's a wonderful, wonderful resort. It's really big. I love a big campus. It helps not to feel, when you're here 7 days, 8 days, whatever it is, and if you've ever gone to a small campus, especially if it's like Cancun, like on the strip itself, you start feeling closed in after a while. But this is a really big, it's like a little town, you know? And it helps you just stretch your legs, you walk around, you meet people, you see new things. Golf course is up and running, so that's really nice. I think last year that was limited as well. And they had all sorts of different like provisions over the golf clubs, like bags or something, if I remember correctly. We noticed also the pool is back to serving plastic cups, not disposable plastic. Last year they were doing like a disposable cup you would throw away when you were done. And now it's back to like the normal plastic cup that you return to the bartender and they reuse them. So you can see that kind of action is behind us now. Those old habits and patterns are over now. And this is probably about as normal as it's going to be. Other than that, rooms are wonderful. I'm going to put up a room video, not necessarily a tour one, but I see a lot of comments about humidity and how to cope with that in the room. And I think someone's doing something wrong because there's nothing to cope with. Watch the video and you'll see what I mean. And that's it. I'm not sponsored by the resort. I'm not sponsored by any resort. I just like to travel a lot. And I hate reading reviews. So I do these to kind of cut down on the BS and just share my experience, right? So hopefully someone here finds this interesting or helpful. And if you have any questions and I didn't address anything here, hit me up. And I'm happy. I get back daily, or I do my best to. And hopefully this helps you make the best experience possible for yourself. Last note, as we come back around, next to the clinic, so if anyone is hurt, God forbid, you've got the clinic here. Arcade. The arcade is back up and running. Really cool really cool layouts, dual layer, 2 layers. Trampoline park inside there. Really neat. That was all closed up last year. 2 main touch points, I guess they weren't having that. So you get the full experience. You come down here, everything's open. Really, really neat. So, well, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.